What's good, y'all? What's popping? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Nook story time. I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that this is more of a serious story time, as I would like to address some of the trauma that I went through working for the city of Alexandria when I was there. I can't really speak about the city of Pineville because I currently work for them and I signed the NDA, so I can't really speak on things that has gone on or happened to me while working there. But I signed the NDA for the city of Alexandria, so I just wanted to be open and be serious with y'all about some of the things that I endured while working there. People don't understand how difficult the job that I do is. People see me and think that it's easy. They don't really get what I have to go through or deal with. And a lot of times I hide what I go through and what I've been through. And it's hard sometimes. But for those who don't know, I work outside. I deal with the utilities. No matter what the weather is, I'm out there for the most part, unless it's something severe like a tornado or a hurricane, which I've actually been outside in a hurricane working before. So, but there was a couple instances working for the city that really shook me up that I don't really talk about too much, but I want to open up and give this content to you guys to show a more serious side of me. So there's a lot of things that can happen doing what I do, being bitten by ants, spiders, stung by bees, wasps, things like that. But if you live where I live, for those who don't know, the utilities are not typically cheap around here. And a lot of the times, customers put that blame on us, on people like me who do the job that I do. And for me, it's just like, I'm not the reason your bill is high, you are. But they blame it on us. They think that we're not doing our jobs properly and it messes up their utility bill and things, get a little hostile. Customers, most of the time, cuss us out. They are very rude and nasty to us. Sometimes we even get threatened. And I'll tell you about one of the most traumatic time I was threatened at the end. But before that, I'm able to do the job for the most part. I hadn't really gone through any traumatic experience thus far working the job. This is like my first serious job. I had 2 other jobs before this, but this is a serious job right here. So, I suffered 2 dog attacks. First time I was in the hood, and both times, the first time the dog was, he was on a leash attached to a tree. Now, it wasn't like one of those strong leashes. It's like more of a rope wrapped around a tree. And I'm walking by, I'm going through the neighborhood doing what I need to do, and the dog breaks off the leash. And I'm in close proximity to the dog, so there's not a lot of time to react. And the dog basically ends up biting me. Now I have technically a weapon in my hand. It's called a hook. And I'm able to defend myself for the most part with the hook, keep it at bay. Cause it wasn't one of those dogs that'll bite and lock in. It kind of bit me, let me go, but was still trying to bite me multiple times. But he could only give me that one time, but it did get me good. It broke my skin. And when I was finally able to call to get help to come subdue the dog, my supervisor at the time, who he's no longer with us, so rest in peace to him. He comes out and he checks on me, and I'm thinking at that moment in time that I'm gonna get the rest of the day off. Like I just was attacked by a dog. I was bitten, broke the skin. But all that happened was I was sent to go get a rabies shot. So I was sent to go get it. And at this point in time, it was during the summer, so it's at least 100 degrees. It's hot. So I just got attacked by a dog. I'm traumatized. It's the first real traumatic moment I had. I just had a rabies shot. I'm not feeling well at all. But I didn't get to go home. I was put back on the route, and I had to finish the route under those circumstances. No time to really process or recover from what just happened to me. And that was my first real dose of reality that I'm just a pawn in a big machine. Like, that was like maybe the first time I didn't feel like a human being, like my feelings didn't matter. Like, I don't get time to really recover from this. I gotta finish in the same neighborhood where pretty much everybody had a dog. So at any moment in time, this could have happened again. But yeah, that's what happened. I had to finish the route. I had to go back out there in that same neighborhood and do the work. Okay, so that's when I realized, okay, I'm a man now. I can't. There's no coddling me. There's no sympathy for me. There's really not much sympathy for men at all. It's like be a man type thing. So that was the first time. The second time was a bit more traumatic, a bit more serious. I was in a decent neighborhood, nice, nice middle class homes. Uh, a lot of times I had to go in people's backyards through their gates. So I'm not always aware if they have dogs or not. You kind of do like a test. You maybe knock on the gate, whistle, whatever you can do to try to see if a dog will react before you go in the backyard. In this case, this home had a house sitter. So this house sitter sees me coming into the driveway, going to the backyard. She comes out and I ask the lady, hey, are there any dogs back here? And she says, no, I'm good to go in. Now, his house sitter is new, apparently. So I go to the backyard and I'm walking to the meter to do what I need to do. And I don't know what, I heard a noise. And as soon as I turn around, instantly, once again, no time to react, there is a big white husky just jumps on me, knocks my hook out of my hand, knocks my weapon out of my hand. It was wet that day, so I had rain boots on. It knocked the boot off. So I'm in the backyard on the ground, and this husky is just attacking me. There was also a German Shepherd in the yard as well. But thankfully for me, the German Shepherd was a friendly. It was not attacking me with the husky, because that could have been, I probably would have been mauled right there if both of them was getting me at the same time, because that's pretty hard to try to defend yourself against a husky and a German Shepherd. But thankfully the Shepherd wasn't attacking me, just the husky was. So I'm trying to crawl my way to my weapon, just like I did for the first time, to defend myself. And the lady, the house sitter, is just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get them off you. And she forgot to mention that there's a dog door, to the back door. So that's where the dog came from. I'll go in the yard, the dog comes out the doggy door. I didn't see it, I didn't hear him until it was too late. I'm on the ground trying to get to my weapon to defend myself, but the dog is just constantly biting at me. And once again, a dog that's not biting and locking in like a pit bull is a husky. So it's biting, letting go, but it hurts. They have sharp teeth. I'm able to somehow crawl my way to my weapon and get on my feet because I was on the ground for a while because it would not let me get up. Big dog. Um, but I was finally able to get up and kind of defend myself to get out of the yard because the woman just kept repeating herself, well, I don't know how to get them off you. How are you a house sitter with dogs but are not trained to command the dogs? So I'm in the driveway, I'm bleeding, right? I'm traumatized, I'm bleeding, I'm hyperventilating, I can't catch my breath because my heart is just beating so fast. I don't know how I made it out of this backyard with just the injuries that I have. I feel like it could have been a lot worse, and it really could have been. But she's in the driveway trying to check on me. But her way of checking on me was to just offer me some water. Ma'am, I'm bleeding. I am injured. I'm hurt. You're offering me water? So my thing is, this is a serious moment. The homeowner needs to be contacted, but apparently the homeowner was the head nurse at the ER at the hospital, which uh, I didn't know that at the time, but that's who owned the home. She was the head nurse of the ER at the hospital. So they tried to contact her, but it was hard to get in touch with her. So what ended up happening was the house sitter got in touch with her dad, who owns the insurance company. So her dad ended up coming to the house first, and I think his thing was he was more concerned with a potential lawsuit. He's an insurance guy, so he comes, he checks on me, he sees I'm bleeding. At least he calls. He asked me did I want an ambulance called to go to the hospital, and I was just like, no, I'm gonna get a coworker to come pick me up and just take me to the hospital. I wouldn't about to pay no ambulance fee like that. Like, I'm hurting, but I'm not dying, so I can get a coworker to get me to the hospital because I did need to go get my wounds treated. So his whole thing was he was more concerned with me not suing. So he offered me a settlement right then and there on that day. He said, hey man, look, I will cut you a check. We ain't even got to go through all the legal process of this whole thing. Let me just write you a check, get you to the hospital, and solve this thing right now. And once again, in that moment, did not feel human. Like, I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, I'm thinking about my safety, my health, and my well-being, and you worried about if I'm going to sue your daughter for money. So my coworker come and pick me up and they take me to the hospital. He follows behind to the hospital because his daughter works there. So he wants to let her know what's going on too. I get to the hospital and I meet his daughter. I meet the nurse at the ER who owned the home. Lovely, lovely, sweet lady. She had no idea what was going on. As soon as I got in there, she tended to me herself. Gave me the shots that I needed, wrapped me up, bandaged me up, checked on me. She was completely nice, completely sweet, lovely. And she was young too, like probably in her late 20s, early 30s. Very young, very sweet. And at that moment, people was trying to get in my ear, oh man, you can get some money out of this. You need to sue her. You need to sue. And I'm just like, I'm not a vindictive person like that. I'm not that type of guy. Now, if she had been rude to me or made it seem like it was my fault, yeah, maybe I would have strongly considered. But once meeting her and getting treated by her, I had to remember that was completely not her fault. She was not there. She did not know. And I didn't want to drag this thing out through a legal process, pay lawyers' fees and all that. Even though I could have got a lot of money, I was like, I'm not going to do that to this woman because, for one, this woman is clearly getting up every day coming here to save lives. And I could tell she was a good person. So it made no sense for me to drag her, even myself, through that whole process of going to court, trying to sue for a lot of money when this, I don't blame her. Sorry, make sure my mic on. I don't blame her for what happened to me. Um, so I took the check that her dad offered. Um, Sorry, I'm dealing with some technical issues. So I took the check that her dad offered me, which was just really $2,000, which was fine for me because at that moment in time, my family was trying to put together a trip to WrestleMania. Anybody knows me, I'm a wrestling fan. I always wanted to go. Never thought that I'd get an opportunity to go to one of those. And that year, it was in Orlando, Florida. So I was like, ooh, this is my plane ticket to Florida, my ticket to WrestleMania. So I took it. And that's basically what happened. I took the check and I went to Orlando. That was my reward for what I went through. I went to WrestleMania with my family. And I'm happy that I did that because, for one, I didn't drag a good person through that process, and I got a dream trip of mine that I wanted to cross off my bucket list, and I got to spend time with my family. But the experience itself was still traumatic because I was supposed to be out of work for a week. I was supposed to be out of work for a whole week. I was out of work for 2 days. My supervisor, he went and picked up, not my family, my boss, went and picked up my prescription medicine, brought it to me. I was on very strong hydrocodone for just, you know what I'm saying? I was supposed to be on that for at least a week. And I was. But after 2 days, they were ready for me to come back to work. And I don't know why in the world I did not take my time. But the way that I was being rushed to come back to work or pursued to come back to work, I felt needed. I felt important. At the time, I felt like I was that important. Like you need me back at work this quick of a turnaround after what I just went through. Like, you really need me like that? Okay. But I was still in a lot of pain after those 2 days. But I'm back at work, operating a city vehicle, heavy machinery, on hydrocodone. And I was on hydrocodone for the whole week that I was back at work, ahead of schedule. Once again, not taking myself into account, which I didn't do a lot, not thinking about myself and my health. I just went back to work after 2 days, heavily medicated. And I'm like, okay, I've been through 2 traumatic experiences. What could be worse than this? Like, the worst is over, right? The worst is over. No, the worst was not over. I was in a very good neighborhood, but it was a new route for me. Hadn't done this part of the neighborhood. I had done this route before, but somebody, I think, missed work and I had to take over. So I'm not familiar where everything is. And like I said, a lot of the stuff is in the backyards. So I'm going house to house like normal, going in people's backyards, taking precaution. I get to a particular house, didn't know where the stuff was. I went through his gate on one side. It wasn't on that side. So I come out the gate. I go on the other side. That's where it is. He hears me going in his backyard, right? Just trying to do my job. But he hears his gates and stuff like that. I come out to the front of his yard because I'm done with the house. I'm going to the next house. He stops me. Now, keep in mind, I'm in full uniform. I got my vest on, City of Alexandria. He asked me who I was. I tell him who I was, my job title, what I was doing. So he's very aware of who I am and what I'm there to do. And this is an older white man, like probably in his 60s. Gray hair, blue eyes, not the friendliest looking man. He looks me dead in my eyes and I'm staring into my soul. I promise you. And his words to me was, if I catch you in my yard again, I will shoot you dead where you stand. And I'm just at that moment, I don't even know how to respond. I froze because my life was seriously just threatened. Um, what? You're gonna do what? Um, it's not something that I talk about very often. It's very hard to talk about because I have to relive that moment. But at that point in time in my life, I just had my kid. She was very young at this point. And it's one thing to threaten me, to threaten my life, and it's just me. Okay, whatever. But I'm thinking in that moment, I can't really react or respond the way I want to because I know this man is serious and I have a fresh young kid. Like, this man just threatened to take me away from my young child. And I had to think about that. If I pop off, if people who know me know I don't hold my tongue, but if I pop off at this man and he's as serious as I think he is, he's going to take me away from my child. So the best thing that I could do for myself was just walk away. And that's exactly what I did. As hard as it was, I walked away. I went to the next house, did what I had to do. As I was coming back from the next house, he stopped me again. But this time he comes out. I think he realizes what he had done. You just threatened a city employee. So he comes back out, but this time he wants to apologize. And then he wants to give me this story about how there's been break-ins in his home, in the neighborhood. He's had his home broken into and he just didn't know who I was and what I was doing. But I identified myself, so you're lying. You saw a young black man in your yard. You come out, you ask me who I am, I give you my name, you see where I work, I tell you exactly what I'm doing. And I tell you why I'm not familiar with the neighborhood. I didn't know exactly where your stuff was. That's why I went on the other side of your gate. I didn't know, but now I know where it is. And his whole thing was just like, yeah, well, I apologize for what I said. I just don't like people in my backyard because of all the break-ins. So, are we good? Okay. I didn't accept the apology, but okay. Because I wanted nothing to do with him or that moment anymore. I wanted to go about my business. And I know you wonder, did I report this? No, I didn't. Because at this point, I'd already felt inhuman twice. What are they going to do about it? I tell them the man threatened me, but he didn't have a gun in his hand at this moment in time. I knew he had a gun. It was in the house, but he didn't have it on him. He didn't point the gun at me. He just threatened me. So what are you going to do? If I tell you that he threatened me, you're going to go arrest him for what? I'm not going to do anything. And now I have beef with this man every time I come to his house because I done said something and nothing was done to him, so he don't feel like there's any consequences that can happen to him. So now he feels even more powerful. What's the point of that? I let it go. Because now I know not to make that mistake again. Like, I know where your stuff is now. And if I feel like there is going to be a problem with coming to your house, I just won't do it. But I feel like I could handle it at that point in time. But it was a very traumatic moment to deal with, to have a man who could have possibly been racist, I don't know, seriously threatened my life. Not look at me as a person, a human being, a father, an employee, anything like that. Just somebody who he did not know that was in his yard and threatened to shoot me dead where I stood. And meant it with all his heart. And of course, guess what I had to do? Finish the job. There's no, oh, let me take a moment to process what just happened. There's no, oh, I need some time off to check on my mental health. It's not a thing. Man up, do the job. And that's what had to happen. I did the job. Now I did tell some of my coworkers, and you know, they were concerned for me. They asked me was I okay and stuff like that. But what I really needed was some time off. But I couldn't get that. Now that's 3 very traumatic experiences that I've suffered in a short amount of time, and the last one, my life my life was threatened. And that's what I had to deal with. And dealing with that, and then trying to be a young adult on his own for the first time, handling responsibilities of being a father, paying bills, being a man, that was very difficult for me to deal with at that time in my life. I had to question a lot of things. Do I leave this job? But then how do I provide? At this point, I created a stable life for myself, a stable life for my kid. How do I just walk away? And do what? I can't go back to my previous job. That wasn't going to work. I didn't have a plan. If I left that job at that moment, what was I going to do? So I just did the job. Kept coming to work every day. I bottled a lot of that up and just dealt with it because that's what I had to do. And there's other traumatic experiences that I dealt with, but those are the ones that I wanted to highlight for this video. And I don't want to dwell on it too much more than that. I feel like you guys got enough of it to understand what I went through. And I'm going to leave it at that. So I want to thank you guys for allowing me to open up and relive some of these traumatic experiences with you guys. I hope you continue to support me, support the channel, like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next video, because you never know what kind of video it's going to be. Could be serious, could be funny, could be dramatic. You don't know. But that's why you tune in. And thank you guys for listening. I'm out.